Hey everybody, it is late at night and I am Norman. I love to travel and I love taking vacations. So as a watch nerd, I need to have a case I can put my watches in so I can take them with me. So tonight I'm going to go over all the watch cases that I own and let you know what I think of them. So if you happen to be looking for one, you have an idea of what's out there and how well they perform. So let us begin. Alright, so we'll begin by looking at the oldest traveling watch cases I have. And they're both this cylinder style. They have snaps here. We pop that open and we see 3 pillows. And these are kind of snug in here. But what I find is that the watches kind of tend to turn around. So the heavy watch heads will end up kind of wanting to rotate down into here. Even with pillows kind of snug like this. So what I normally do is I put the watches in here with the watch heads already down. So I would put my watch on here. Do up the strap. And I would put it in with the watch head already down, because that is the position it's constantly wanting to go to. And yeah, I can usually tell what the watch is by the strap anyway, and if not, I can just pull it out and look. Then you can snap it closed. But that's one of my cylinder cases. Both of them, if I remember correctly, were gifts. It's been a while now. The other cylinder case that I have is this one. And I like the aesthetic of this one a little bit better. So this is a strap of leather that goes around the cylinder and then snaps there. And the inside is a nice gray color. The pillows aren't round like the other one, but they're definitely snug in here. So the cool thing about this case is the watches tend to not want to roll around so much because of these pillow shapes. And I really like the way this one looks. Very cool. I would say if you're going for a watch case like this, that's the cylinder style, you might want to track down the ones where there's actually snaps on the sides of the pillows and they snap in to the roll itself and don't move around at all. Or be sure that it's nice and snug like the two that I have. They take up a lot of room, but they're pretty tough. I used to always take these flying back before we were using carry-ons. So we were checking our luggage and I would put my watches in these and stuff them right in the middle of the suitcase with all the clothes and stuff around them, so they had some extra padding. And yeah, they always treated my watches pretty well. Sometimes if I'm doing watch swaps with people, I'll use these for shipping. So I'll put one of these in a box with some packing, and that way I can ship more than one watch to them and just kind of put them in the case. The next watch case that I have actually came with my Everest. So this is a Time Factors little watch case. Oh, there's my links there. Yes, and the receipt for TikTok watch repair. I had him clean the inside of the crystal. There was a smudge in there. But yep, here is the case, and it's not really so much of a travel case as it is just kind of the packaging the watch came in. I think with the PRS 29A, if I remember right, those are shipped in something that's a bit more like an actual travel case, probably a bit tougher than this, and I think it houses 2 watches if I remember right. I will have to look that up. But this is just some inexpensive foam that you would see in a box that a watch ships in, but you can use it as a travel case if this is all you've got. I haven't used it. for anything other than housing my extra links. But, I mean, it's a little tough. This would be good for maybe in a backpack that you're carrying around or carry-on luggage. Or maybe if you're just shipping a watch to somebody. Actually, since that receipt was in here, I wonder if I didn't ship this to TikTok Watch Repairs in this case in a box. So maybe I have used this. And the next case that I have is this one here. Nice distressed leather. And this houses 2 watches. It's kind of snug, so I've had to kind of stretch this out a little bit to get the watches to fit in there. So I usually just tuck the watch head in here so it's nice and protected and let the strap hang out there. This one works fairly well. I took this on our Route 66 trip because I couldn't make up my mind on which watches to bring, so I brought a couple different cases and this was one of them. Yeah, it looks real nice. I don't know if I would use this with check-in luggage when you're flying or anything where it might get squished. Because it's not at all solid this way, as you can see here. But for carry-on luggage or in a backpack or a bag that you're carrying around, stuff like that, this should be okay. And it looks real nice. It wouldn't pop open at all, like my rolls might. But, yeah. And this one came with my Dan Henry, and it's actually my favorite watch case at the moment. It has a great look to it. It's not super protective, it's just canvas. But if you're carrying your watches in luggage that is, again, carry-on, so you're not checking it where other people are going to be throwing it around and who knows what's going to happen to it. If it's a bag or luggage in your possession, I feel like this works really well. You can fit 3 watches in there. I also stuffed my Poly watch in here. And I think I put a couple tools in there one time, just in case I needed to do micro adjustments because of weather differences. This also went with me on the Route 66 trip. And yeah, I expected there to be some hot weather. And after taking the Everest to Palm Springs, where it was really snug on the wrist because it was so warm there, I brought some tools so I could make sure to micro adjust it and whatnot. And I brought Poly watch because I brought so many vintage pieces on that trip. You never know. But I like how it secures shut. It's just kind of fun and old school, and yeah. So I usually just kind of tuck this under here. And that's usually good enough right there. But if I feel like securing it even more, I'll kind of make it into a knot of some sort. Kind of like that. But yeah, like the previous one, this isn't overly rugged, so if you don't know how much abuse the bag or luggage that your watches are in is going to be subjected to, this one is not a good candidate. Most other situations, it should be okay. Yeah, it just looks really cool though. I like it. And the last case that I have actually shipped with my Stova. So here we have an anvil case style box. And it houses 1 watch, but you do have space here. So when I've used this, I actually put a watch over here as well, wrapped up in my blue cloth. And this case is pretty cool. So crazy that they shipped this with the watch. It's nice and tough. This is basically just kind of cardboardy, but that's fine because the box itself is really cool. So this would be a great piece for luggage if you're doing check-ins or something and it's going to get tossed around. If you're hiking and you have your watches in a backpack or something and you might bump it against something, who knows? This would be a pretty good choice. I mean, this isn't a chintzy box at all. They really didn't skimp on this. It just, this is solid. I've used it a few times, and it's worked really well. So if you need a really tough case, I would definitely go with this or the Rolls. These two are by far the toughest travel cases that I own. So if you don't know how much abuse your watches are going to be subjected to, I would go with one of these. Otherwise, stuff like these are perfectly good. I've had 0 issues, no damage to any of my watches using any of these cases, so it's kind of just a matter of how comfortable you are with the level of protection that they offer and what kind of aesthetic you're going for, if at all. I generally don't care what my traveling watch cases look like, but if they do happen to look cool, sweet. So there you have it, all of my traveling watch cases. I take at least one of these every time I go somewhere. If I'm really in love with all my watches and just can't choose, I'll bring 2 or 3 of these cases. Totally normal. Thanks for watching.